I'm here with Khari Clark to talk about her basketball career and maybe more, maybe discuss more stuff as well from her life. Uh, so you're a native of Denver, Colorado, right? And is it true about these 245 sunny days in a year? Is it really that sunny?
I will say I don't know the exact days, but it does get really sunny. I will say Denver has all four seasons, so it's always the summers get really hot and the winters get really cold, and then we have fall and spring. So, yeah, I would say yes.
Okay. And what did you do growing up in Denver? And how and when did you find basketball?
So growing up in Denver was really fun. I just remember having a lot of family gatherings and family barbecues where everybody was playing spades or board games or and listening to music, just dancing. That was really my childhood. But I didn't start playing basketball till I moved to Texas. So I lived in Denver for 9 years and I lived in Texas for about six. And that's when my dad introduced basketball to me, and then it just stuck ever since then.
Okay, what was the reasoning? Did you have a lot of energy as a child and you needed and he thought that you needed to focus on something or
That's an interesting question. Honestly, my dad gave me an ultimatum. He was like, "You're gonna play sports. Which one do you want to play, volleyball or basketball?" And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll play basketball." And it was that simple. And I was like, "Okay, I'm playing
okay,
basketball."
okay. And never tried volleyball? Or did
I
you
never
no?
did volleyball. I ran track just because it was easy
Okay.
and I could do it before the season started, but it only went till middle school. I didn't do anything after.
Okay. And did your dad give you these options because of your height? Did you always play big as a four or a five once you started playing basketball?
I did. I was always tall for a kid. But yeah, I always played a four or five. And I think I was like 5'11", 6 foot in the eighth grade. So it just kind of stuck.
Nice. I've never been 5'11", so I don't know what that is. Yeah. And as a big, how did you work on blocks and rebounds? Did you do any like special drills or was it just the usual stuff and it came naturally to you?
So honestly, I don't think I've when I was younger, I don't think I was a good rebounder, in my personal opinion. So I never did drills when I was younger. It wasn't until college too we got like super specific on we need to rebound offensively and defensively. But I will say like blocks and rebounds are all about timing. You can just read the ball, you can read a player to block their shot, or like if a player shoots and they're shooting from a certain angle, you know the ball is going to bounce off that angle, so you just kind of go in that direction. And it's also just luck, like timing and luck, the best, and effort, I will say, obviously effort. But yeah.
Okay. I've seen an old from like 3 years ago or four interview with you, and you said that rebounds are your favorite stat. Are they still your favorite stat?
Yes. And I will say, like, now I'm really, really proud of myself for how I'm rebounding the ball now compared to then. So it's just really, really, it's just like energy plays. Like, it just gives energy to the team and it gives energy for yourself. And it's like, that's something you can look back on and be like, okay, like, I really did a good job doing this. And you can really celebrate yourself that way.
Okay, but are you proud of the numbers, or is there like a technique now involved when you just are better at rebounding and it comes easier to you because of, that you figured
Mhm.
it out finally?
I will say both. Yes,
Okay.
I am proud of the number, and then I'm also proud of the technique. Like it's just timing. Like I can read it much better now, and I'm not wasting so much energy as I was before and not getting it. So it's just like I'm putting in the effort and I'm getting the result that I want. So yeah.
So you know where the ball will land after it bounces off. Are you already able to
More,
do that?
yeah, more likely you can tell. Like if some,
Okay. Okay,
yeah.
that's cool. And so a question about something different, I guess. When did biochemistry enter the equation or enter your life?
Right. That's a good question. I actually have a story. So when
Okay.
I was a sophomore in high school, I enrolled in the chemistry course because it was mandatory to graduate. And I didn't really think anything of it. And my teacher at the time, I think his name was Mr. Wood, he gave a disclaimer to the class on the first day. And he was just like a really stern, bad.
Hmm.
Um, you're not gonna have fun, but I just want you to really understand the concepts because this is like fundamental things. And I was like, okay, like I didn't really think anything of it. I wasn't really intimidated about it. And then as the course goes on, like I didn't even notice until one day he pulled me aside after class and he was just like, "You're doing really well in my class. Like, have you ever thought of a career in the science field? Like you can be a doctor, a nurse, or a research scientist." And I'm first gen, so it's like that STEM realm wasn't really known to me per
Hmm.
se. So after that, I was like, okay, it was kind of set in stone of like I really like science, like this is something that I can pursue. And then with basketball, like I knew I was going to college and I knew I would have to pick a major. And I was like, okay, well this just makes sense. And I was a very curious child. So science was just something to help me like understand the world around me better. So I was just really excited and I did enjoy my time. And also when I chose LMU, the chemistry professors were super, super, super hands-on. The professor to student ratio was really good. And they really were involved in the student community and they really cared about my personal growth, even as a student athlete. So like it spoke volumes to me. And also LMU had just built a new chemistry building. So I was like, okay, like I have to come here. So yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't like the basketball as I mean, basketball also played a part there, but it was also about your future career. That's
Yeah.
that's that's incredible. I mean, that's such a young age you already knew, because
Mhm.
sometimes people don't have a plan B, but your plan B
Right.
was plan A or kind of A1, A2. That's really,
Right.
yeah,
That's
that's
the way to
cool.
put it.
Yeah, and what aspects of biochemistry are you like most interested in? So what was maybe your because you're a graduate, right?
Mhm.
What was your
Mhm.
thesis about?
Um, so we didn't really have a thesis, but I will
Okay.
say, um, at LMU there was like a chemistry and a biochemistry, and like biochemistry is more focused on like the body's cellular respiration and stuff like that, and how we produce energy and all of that stuff. So I really, really enjoy that, and I also enjoy the toxicology unit that we did. It was really, really nice and really insightful. So I do have an interest in becoming a pharmacist, but it's very like, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. But toxicology and drug mechanisms are really interesting to me.
Okay. And you seem to be also very politically aware as to what is happening. At least I saw an old interview when you actually talked about Kamala Harris, Black Lives Matter, and you
Mhm.
also were wearing a mask when you played, like one of the few players who actually wore a mask. So,
Yeah.
uh, do you also plan on just wherever you are? Because this is your first season in Europe, right? You've played in
Mhm.
Mexico, but this is your first time in Europe. Do you plan on getting like some getting into some social issues in the countries that you're in?
That's a good question. I think that I am a student at best, and I can't really say globally. I'm very aware of the stuff that's going on.
Mhm.
Um, at a level that I would like to be. So every time that for instance, in Mexico, it was a really great experience because not only did we play basketball, we did a lot of community outreach and we got to meet a lot of the different organizations within the community. We were doing community service, like through basketball, of course, but it was just really nice to be able to see the kids. And I don't know what it is, but like the community in Mexico, the kids really, really, really appreciate women's basketball. And they were just, the energy was so different. They were just really happy to see us. And I think using my platform to just be an inspiration is always great. And like when I can do that in different countries, it's lovely. And I think the experience that I had in Mexico is just like kind of why I continue to play professional because I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, like you said, I had a plan A and play plan A too, you know? So I
Mhm.
was like, really interested in science. So I was like, maybe I don't want to play basketball after college, but after that experience in Mexico and just seeing the different, being involved in the different communities, I was just like, wow, like I have a platform that I can use and inspire kids. And it was just really great. It was a great feeling. And I hope that I can be able to do that overseas and also just being able to sustain my overall happiness while doing it. That's something that would be great. I can't say that I will actively try, I mean, or commit to it. It's just really hard because there's a lot of cultural differences in
Hmm.
language. It's like it's a tough step, but obviously in Mexico, like they kind of held my hand throughout the process, and it was just really nice experience. And I would love
Okay.
to.
Okay. And right now, do you get along with the teammates? Do you have a translator, or does the coach use English to communicate, to
Right
accommodate
now,
you?
the
Okay.
community that I'm in, my basketball program now is just
Hmm.
great. They're really big on making sure that I'm safe and comfortable. They do speak English. And but they have accents that's really heavy. So
Yeah.
other than that, it's been great. Like they're good people. And I think that's the beauty of basketball, like playing overseas is like you can see how even though we speak two different languages, we also speak one language and it's basketball. And it's like you can see, okay, although this is different in my country, you guys do this in your country, and it's also it might be better, you know what I mean? Or like I'll bring them something like, okay, you should try to implement this in your game, and it might be better than what they have learned. So it's just really interesting to see how universal sports are and how like different people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different everything can come together and just compete and play.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Can we return to your college career for a
Yeah.
period? Yeah, because that was super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, okay. So I wanted to ask about the recruitment. Apart from LMU, were there other schools involved? You already touched upon the topic that it was A1, AB,
Mhm.
A1, A2, but were there any other schools that like had a chance with you? Meaning not that,
Um,
yeah.
there were, but I'm not gonna be completely transparent.
Okay,
I don't remember at all. I remember um 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 yeah,
okay, okay,
there
okay,
was because there was just like I did two recruitments.
okay.
Obviously, when I high school going to college and then
Mhm.
college my grad year. So it's just the lines are a little blurred. I don't really remember.
Sure. And your career itself at LMU is kind of sinusoidal because you were on the bench, then you were a starter, then bench, then starter. So what was happening during those 4 years?
A lot. But I
Okay.
will say LMU at the time where I was there, it was just they were trying to change the culture, which I think is could be very effective. But if not done correctly, it could lead to the seasons that we had there. And it just takes a lot. You need administrators to buy in, you need the right athletes to buy in, you need the right way to approach the athletes. All that stuff needs to like align correctly to have the outcomes that you want. And unfortunately, we just didn't have that. We didn't have that identity, we didn't have that culture. And then there was a lot of ups and downs, and there was good times and there was bad times. And we also had a coaching change. So that's always a major shift for a program. But I learned a lot of lessons regardless of everything that happened. And I'm really grateful for that experience at LMU.
Okay. Because you had, as you said, you had two coaches, right? The one that recruited you, Charity Elliott. So, and then you had Arika Hughes. So, what was the difference in the approaches? Because obviously there was some like adjusting involved during your
Mhm.
junior year.
Yeah, I think the major difference is just, and not to disrespect anyone, it's just their
Sure.
age. I think Charity is a more traditional type of coach, and then Coach A is kind of like that new millennial like approach to basketball. So that was just I think the major difference between the two is just like they had different terms for things, how they did things, what they cared about, how they wanted us to be represented in the community and just different stuff like that. I think that's like the major difference between the two.
And you said that there were two recruitments involved. So can you tell us a bit about the second recruitment? Why did you pick Stony Brook?
Right. So after LMU, I think I had a different mentality on life, right? So I just finished my degree, which was really, really, really stressful. And it took a toll on me that I would never admit it when I was in college. But like looking back, I had long weeks. I would go from a 4 hour practice to a 3 hour lab and then 2 hour lecture after
You
that.
had 4 hour practices.
Yeah, like
Wow.
with weights and
Yeah, yeah, just in total during the day.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I would also go back to my lab and I would have to it was like a 15-minute transition between the two. So I had long weeks, long days, long nights. And I wasn't able to just give attention to either or like they should have. And I just attest that to just me being young and just learning time management. But I think that would be difficult no matter who you were. And then after I graduated and got my degree, I was super, super happy and I kind of knew what I wanted out of life now because I had just achieved the one thing that I wanted my entire life. So it was just like, okay, like now I want more. Like now I know what I want to do. I want to be able to get more. So my approach, I was like, okay, because like I said, I was like, this is gonna be my last year basketball. Like after this, I'm never picking up a basketball again. So I was like, I'm going to go to a place where I can inspire the people I'm around, and then celebrate me. Like I was never happy with my performance at LMU. And I think that's like a biggest thing. Like I could never celebrate myself. So like I sat down and I was like, okay, I don't know what school I'm gonna go to, but I just know those two things: inspire others and celebrate me. And then I chose Stony Brook because, quite frankly, and Coach Langford, who was our head coach when I was there, she'll tell you exactly. I wanted to go to a place where I felt no pressure. So that means like I just didn't want to be the star of the team. And I wanted to go to a team that had that culture, that identity, and that structure. And we had a really good point guard, Gigi Gonzalez. And I was like, okay, she's a great leader. She has structure. She had been there for 5 years when I had came. So I was like, I'm going into a place where it's already built. I just have to add my contribution. So I was like, this is lovely. And then also to add on to that, I went from having these long lectures to going to online school, which is completely manageable. Like the only thing throughout my days, the only thing I had to do was practice and read my textbook and answer my discussion posts. And I think that was a really big shift because I didn't have to dedicate so much time to my schoolwork, even though I did, obviously. But I'm a student athlete, student comes first.
Yeah.
But I was also able to dedicate more time to being an athlete and just being able to fully be an athlete like most athletes who aren't STEM majors. So with that, I was just like, okay, I'm more comfortable with myself. I'm celebrating myself. I'm celebrating my team. And also like I don't have that stress of school. I don't have that stress of like, okay, I need to perform well in the classroom because I just didn't need to spend that much time as I did as my undergrad. So I think that was the biggest shift. And also like the structure and the culture that we had, it was just like it just all aligned and we had a great season and it shows.
Yeah. So the fact that you could pick the hours that you would devote to learning. What I mean by that is that you needn't be like at school for from this hour to this hour, but you could just organize
I,
it
yeah,
yourself.
I
Made the biggest difference for you, right?
yeah, I made my
Yeah.
own schedule.
Yeah. So that's also great. Oh, okay. And because of the fact that you felt no pressure or whatever happened, you guys win 28 games. So at LMU, you had to endure 4 losing seasons, but now you get to finally experience winning. And you had career highs in points, rebounds, and steals when it comes to your college career. So why do you think that happened? Was it because of the pressure aspect, because the conference is different and the competition is different? Or maybe you had a different mindset, the fact that you finally decided to celebrate yourself. probably all of these, right?
Yeah, I think you touched on all of it. And also, I think we, the mindset of just like that, going into that team, it was just totally different. Like going into that team, their goals were like, we're gonna win the whole thing. And I was like, oh, okay, like I guess I have to buy into that. So it's just like their mentality was just like, we are good, we're gonna win the whole thing. And I was like, okay, we can go great. And I will say, like, we had a lot of chemistry right off the bat. Like we just flowed really well together. Um, it was just great alignment. Everything aligned. Whatever you want to say, it just happened for us at the time. Although we lost in the championship, I think that season just went great. And yeah, I'm just really happy for it.
Yeah, the culture makes all the difference, right? Once it's in place, it's like totally different. Yeah.
Mhm.
And what about shooting accuracy?
Mhm.
Because for 4 years you shot below 50%, like 46,
Mhm.
and 40, and now it's 57. Was it because of the point guard, as you said, who was like finding you in the right positions, or what was
Right.
it?
I think, yeah, of course, my teammates helped me so much. And then also to my coaches, I had a really good position coach, Coach Steve. And that year at Stony Brook was the first time that I had like individuals dedicated to me. So it was just one-on-one work with my coach. So I think that, because like I said, it's like the structure and the system of the team. It just really helped with accuracy. Our efficiency level was high. Our numbers as a team were just overall high. So I think that's just a nod to the coaching staff and how Coach Langford and her team kind of built the system. So
Okay. And so just to wrap things up, plan A1, plan A2. What's gonna happen in the next couple of years, or what we as basketball fans can expect from you? Do you plan on playing, I don't know, 10 years, or just maximizing playing basketball, or you know that after like 2 3 years you're gonna be done with the sport?
I think right now I'm just trying to find my footing. Obviously, as long as I'm happy, that's the number one priority. And right now, I'm really happy. I think I'm making money, I'm traveling the world, I get to meet new people. And that's something as all student athletes can, and especially basketball, like we don't, because we're like a winter and fall sport, we don't really get to travel that much. So I'm doing that and getting paid and I'm having fun and I enjoy the game right now. So it's just like I'm gonna keep doing that until I don't want to. And luckily for me, I have a A2 plan. So um if I, don't want to continue to play, I'll pursue my science career and do things with that, which is also exciting. But
Okay.
as long as I'm happy and I'm having fun, I'll continue to play basketball. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Kari, for finding the time. Wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and hopefully, maybe we can talk in like a year or two when you're like on a different team, or maybe you're doing something else. Maybe you're doing the same thing and you're still very happy. It's always
Right.
nice to talk. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.